ask you the question. Give me the context where you think it's acceptable to define someone as a poisonous bigot.
What happens when right-wing media presenters attempt to weaponize bad faith distraction tactics to avoid discussing actual policy? You get the exact spectacle that played out on Talk TV. Presenter Duncan brought on Labour peer Lord George Folks under the premise of discussing parliamentary business, only to derail the interview by demanding he answer for years-old social media comments made by David Lammy and Wes Streeting regarding Anne Widdecombe. Rather than taking the bait or allowing the interview to be hijacked by Reform UK spokesperson Zia Yusuf's performative outrage, Lord Folks effectively exposed the hypocrisy of the exchange. He pointed out the absurd double standards at play, highlighting Reform UK's questionable funding and the real, systemic security threats faced by public servants while refusing to participate in a manufactured media trial over historical political rhetoric. Let's look at how this intense broadcast exchange unfolded. This video breaks down the key moments, the arguments, and the questions everyone is talking about. Watch until the end and tell me what you think in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update.
Good morning.
How are you, Duncan?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you for your time, Lord Folks.
I'm enjoying your really balanced, unbiased reporting.
Well, it's very kind of you. Thank you. Is there sarcasm there?
Yeah, a little.
And anything in particular you want to pick me up on?
No, nothing at all.
Excellent. Well, let's crack on then. I don't know how much. Did you see the Reform UK press conference or hear anything about it?
No.
Well,
I'm busy. I'm working in my office.
Understood. Okay. So I'm just curious to get your... Well, I'll explain and I'll share with you some of the comments that were made because I'm keen to get your reaction. So Reform UK's Home Affairs spokesperson Zia Yusuf was on the stage and he criticised the media for firing up what he believes is an unsavoury attitude, a dangerous attitude to Reform UK. But also he talked about rival opponents, rival politicians who made various comments about Anne Widdecombe in the past, including David Lammy, describing her as a poisonous bigot. Also former Health Secretary Wes Streeting, quoted as saying, if only science had a cure for Anne Widdecombe, and various other comments as well. It seems to me that Zia Yusuf is really going after political opponents who he believes might have a case to answer when it comes to the death of Anne Widdecombe. What would your reaction be?
I pay no attention to what Zia Yusuf says. He's never been elected to anything. I understand that the Reform UK turned him down when he sought to be a candidate in the by-election. I regret Anne Widdecombe's death. I worked with her in the House of Commons. She brought a sense of humour to politics, which is much needed. She was a great woman. But what people seem to forget is that two MPs were murdered, Joe Cox, a Labour MP, and David Amos, a Tory MP. And that really was terrible. And some people in this Reform Party seem to forget that.
Well, I don't think they do, because if you'd heard the speech and watched his speech, his press conference, he did refer to both those MPs, and rightly so, and you're right to bring it up as well. I mean, put to one side your clear dislike of Zia Yusuf because he's unelected, and, you know, that's a fair point to make.
I've met him as well. He's the rudest man I've ever met. He makes some of the people that I've met over my lifetime seem generous and kind by comparison.
Understood. So you don't like him. But I'm interested in this idea that whether or not comments regarding Reform UK over the last few weeks and in the past have somehow led to where we find ourselves today, sadly, talking about the death of one of their spokespeople, Anne Widdecombe. I mean, is there a line that needs to be drawn when we talk about political discourse in this country and the language that is used?
Yes, there is, and I think people who use that kind of language ought to think carefully. But the criticism of Reform UK hasn't been about that. It's been about the leader getting £5 million from a crypto billionaire. Now, you don't get, Duncan, £5 million without having to do something for it. He said it was for his safety, and then we find out that he turned down safety by the state. A car, a driver, and a bodyguard. Perhaps he turned that down because he didn't want the police and the state to know where he was
Well, he said he turned it down because he didn't believe it was enough security. I think it was one driver and one bodyguard, and he said, I don't think that's sufficient for the amount of threats that I receive on almost a daily basis. That's the reason he gave.
Well, it's sufficient for Kemi Badenoch, and she's leader of the opposition.
Yes, but does she get 30 death threats a day?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. So let's just, because I understand why you mentioned a £5 million donation, and that is being investigated. Well, the investigation has been paused currently because, of course, Nigel Farage is not an MP at the moment. You've got the by-election in Clacton. But I'm
looking forward to that by-election, by the way, Duncan, really very much indeed.
I'm curious as to where you think the line should be drawn when we talk about language used in today's political discourse. I mean, is it acceptable for people like David Lammy in the past to describe Anne Widdecombe as a poisonous bigot?
I don't remember that. I wouldn't have used that word. And there's some words...
What about Wes Streeting saying if only science had a cure for Anne Widdecombe? Well, is that acceptable?
Duncan, perhaps once you finish the programme, have a look online and see some of the things that people say about me. I don't know what they say about you, but you get these things.
They say quite a lot about me, and they might say stuff about you, but this is not about you or me. This is about senior Labour politicians in the past who've used language regarding Anne Widdecombe, a woman, to put it bluntly, is now dead. And I'm trying to get out of you, Lord Fawkes, whether or not you think that language has been acceptable in the past.
No, I wouldn't have used it, and I didn't use it. And,
you wouldn't use it, I wouldn't use it. Are you prepared to condemn Wes Streeting for saying if only science had a cure for Anne Widdecombe?
I don't think it helps to condemn anyone for...
Well, you must have a view. Why don't you have a view?
I don't think it helps to condemn anyone for things that were said in the past. I liked Anne Widdecombe, and I was in the House of Lords yesterday when people from all sides paid great tribute to Anne Widdecombe, including Conservative, Labour, Liberal Democrat, and the Lord Speaker, Michael Forsyth. She was very well liked, and every so often people do make comments. I mean, you know,
let me just
let me just say, I was supported her very much against. She was against hunting.
She was against fox hunting.
On that.
Absolutely.
But some of the pro-hunt people were very, very nasty to her.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do, but then again, we're not talking about pro-hunt people. We're talking about Labour colleagues of yours who have used
I know you are, but I'm
talking
about other people. I think you're
this is with the greatest of respect. This is a massive distraction. If you're not prepared to condemn, are you prepared to say that going forward, some of your Labour colleagues really need to reflect on some of the language they've used in the past?
And so do some of the Tories, and some of
That's not the question I'm asking you. This is massive deflection. Why won't you answer the question? My viewers and listeners want to know what you think about this. If you're not happy to condemn them, are you prepared to say they were wrong to use those words?
I'm just saying that I wouldn't have used that.
I'm not talking about you. I'm asking about your Labour colleagues. You're a peer in the House of Lords. You sit as a Labour peer. These people you know, were they out of order to use this language in the past?
I don't remember them using them, and just because Zia Youssef says it, I don't necessarily
well, we've had it verified. These things have been said, so it's irrelevant whether or not you remember it. Do you think this is suitable language?
You need, Duncan, you need to know the context in which anything was said, and I just don't accept that Zia Youssef will put anything in the right context. He is all
right. Okay, well, this is useful, so give me the context where you think is acceptable.
Well, I
haven't even asked you the question. Give me the context where you think it's acceptable to define someone as a poisonous bigot.
But you invited me on to talk about a number of things, including the alleged postponement of the House of Commons sitting next week, and who's going to be Chancellor of the Exchequer. And just because
I'm keen to talk about that.
And just because the strange person, Zia Youssef, who has never been elected, I don't understand.
Well, with the greatest of respect, what you're doing now is attacking an individual, aren't you? Because you don't like what he said. Isn't this the problem with modern politics? All you're doing now is having a pop at Zia Youssef, in the way that your previous Labour colleagues have had a pop at a politician who's no longer alive because they didn't like her views.
No, I'm saying that he's never been elected. He's appointed. He calls himself the Shadow Home Secretary. I thought it was a man called, who is it? Mel Stride, who's the Shadow Home Secretary, not Zia Youssef.
It's Chris Philp. All right.
Chris Philp, rather.
Okay.
Philp,
so are you saying you want to move the conversation on now because you don't want to give me your view on whether or not the language used in the past was inappropriate?
I'm saying it might might be sensible, having invited me on to
Okay,
ask
well,
me
no,
the
that's fine.
questions
I'll let our viewers and listeners judge whether or not they actually got an answer from you in a clear position.
What played out in this 8-minute interview on Talk TV is a clear demonstration of how right-wing media outlets attempt to construct bad faith traps to derail substantive political discourse. Presenter Duncan's interrogation of Labour peer Lord George Folks was not a genuine inquiry into the health of political rhetoric. It was a carefully staged ambush designed to generate a viral moment at the expense of Labour leadership, utilizing talking points directly weaponized by Reform UK's Zia Yousaf. First, consider the complete asymmetry and intellectual dishonesty of the interview's core premise. The presenter attempted to force a Labour peer to answer for and issue retroactive condemnations of years-old rhetorical statements made by David Lammy and Wes Streeting. By dredging up historical political broadsides against figures like Anne Widdecombe, a deeply polarizing right-wing figure whose career was built on championing draconian social policies, the interviewer attempted to construct a false equivalence. The goal was simple: equate standard, albeit sharp, political critique with the real systemic hostility and dangerous misinformation routinely pushed by far-right figures. Lord Folks was entirely correct to refuse to play along with this performative media tribunal. When right-wing hosts demand immediate, unconditional condemnations of colleagues for past political statements, participating in that game only validates the host's manufactured framing. Lord Folks made his personal stance clear, stating plainly that he would not use such language himself, while rightly pointing out that political discourse cannot be stripped of its original context to suit the narrative of an unelected Reform UK operative.